Hey there, it's Ira Carroll here. If you remember that book, Think and Grow Rich, you remember that really powerful story in there that talks about how this group of men got together and they began sort of surveying and researching areas in Texas where they can find black gold, that oil, that rich oil. This was early in the 1900s. And so as they began researching and surveying and looking for, all that richness, they found this area specifically in Texas where it's pretty desolate and pretty dry, but they found that deep down there were droves and droves of oil, and nobody had known about it. So they went out and buy this equipment that's expensive, and they invest all of their money into this equipment. They bring the equipment out to this area, and they start digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and drilling and drilling and drilling, weeks and weeks on. And it gets to a point where they start to think about, oh no, were we right? Is there really oil down here? So they keep digging and digging and digging and digging for weeks and weeks and weeks, and finally they get to the point where they don't find any oil, and they're getting tired and frustrated. And eventually that tiredness and that frustration gets the best of them, and they stop digging and say, gosh, I don't know what we missed, but they're really upset. So they pull all the equipment out of the earth, they pull it out, frustrated, upset, and really pissed off because they missed out on this possible opportunity. Well, they sold it for, fractions of the cost that they bought it for to these other men. So these other men went back to that area and they started researching and they started looking at the area and surveying it. And what they realized was profound, that the men who were digging before were only 3 feet away from reaching that oil that was deep down in there. So with that information, the men went back to that area. They started digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging, digging and digging and digging until eventually, of course, 3 feet down, they tapped into this wellspring of oil. And they broke through to this space of having all of their financial dreams accomplished. And they were set for the rest of their life. It's an interesting story because so many times we are just 3 feet away from breaking through to a new level in our business, to a new level in our life. And as long as we continue to persist, even when times get tough, especially when times get tough, we can break through to that level. And a lot of times we're just that far away from creating massive amounts of powerful change and powerful breakthrough in our life.